on, boys and girls? Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Cage Side with Christopher James. I'm Christopher James, and you wish you could be. No, I'm just playing, man. How y'all doing, man? Great to see you tonight, man. So excited to be with you this happy, terrific Taco Tuesday, as Little John said. So eat a taco, join the show, share the broadcast with all your friends and neighbors, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your grandma, your girlfriend, everybody, all right? Just jump in, hang out. Happy to have you on board with us tonight. And check this out, man. Like I said, a couple things going on. UFC, people were saying it's going to be 250. The UFC is not going to skip any numbers. The UFC is going to be putting on this show. And if you look on the screen right now, UFC 249 rumored to be taking place May 9th in Tampa, Florida. 2 title fights. Ferguson versus Gaethje, interim lightweight championship. Cejudo versus Cruz for the bantamweight title. Anthony Pettis and Cowboy Cerrone part 2. And then Nico Price and Vicente Luque part 2. Great fights coming up, and we'll talk more about those later. And we're going to talk with our guest about his thoughts on UFC 249, see if he's got some predictions, some pro picks. So you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to bring on my first guest tonight. And don't forget on the bottom of the screen, guys, you'll see the ticker popping various things all night. This one right here is for my show, MyMMAshow.com. Check it out for the articles I write, and also all shows that I do will be shared over to the page later on. But right now, I'm going to bring in my first guest. He made his UFC debut a little bit back. It didn't go his way, but, that's all right, man. You win some, you lose some, and this guy's not a newbie to the game. He's been in this game for a while. He had 34 fights before he ever got to the UFC, and he just got his first one. So we're going to bring him in right now. Please welcome for the very first time, my man, the one and only Mr. Darrick Minner. What's up, dog? You can't hear me? Can you hear me? All right, hold on. Let me click it out. You there now?
What is going on?
Can you hear me now? I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't.
Can you hear me?
What the heck just happened?
We did a test right before we came on the show.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see. Hang on, guys. 1 second, Darrick. You should be getting a message from me. All right, there we go. He got the message. All right, cool. So he's going to have to click back out. We don't know what happened, so stand by, guys. But while we're waiting for him to come back into the studio, like I said, UFC 249 is coming up. What's up there? All right, so let's try this again. And boom. Can you hear me?
Are we on?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right, cool. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Darrick Minner. What's up, dog?
What up? What up?
Oh, man. Hey, thanks for taking the time to join us on the show today. I appreciate it, especially for you guys out there. Let me show you on the bottom of this screen. You see the thing about my show, but this is even a better announcement. On the bottom of the screen, Brogan Azrael Minner, a.k.a. Baby Bam. She joined the world today at 550 this morning, 9 pounds, 6 ounces, 21 inches long. That's Darrick right there and his girl, Jordan. Their first child together, his first child, period. So congratulations on that. And the fact that you're joining me on the show the day your baby was born makes this one of the most epic, and it's going to be the most emotional show ever.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me, man. We're just chilling in the hospital, so.
Well, that's awesome, man. So before I want to talk about the baby, before we even talk about fighting, but before we even talk about any of that, the first question I've been asking all the guests that have come on because of the pandemic that's going on, explain to us a day in the life of Darrick Minner prior to the pandemic taking place. And, your training and all that stuff. And then after you tell us that, give us a comparison to the day in the life of Darrick Minner now that we're in the pandemic and training and all that stuff has changed. So we can see the difference in your life.
Before the pandemic, I would just get up and I would have training from 11 to 1 here in Omaha.
Nice.
And then I would, with my boxing coach, my MMA coach and all that stuff. And then I would just go down to my gym, which is about 45 minutes away from Nebraska or Omaha and Nebraska City. And I would have, my classes and all that. And then I would have my team that I coach down there, which includes my brothers and like a few pros and all that. We got a pretty decent team, and I would, we'd have 2 hour to 2 hour practice down there, and that's just like out of camp, and in camp I would go to Vegas, but right now that's pretty much daily. And now right now it's pretty much Premier's closed, which is my gym in Omaha. So I'm pretty much getting it in where I can during the day. I still have my gym, so I do my cardio and all that stuff. And then some of my guys still come in and, do behind the scenes private with only a couple of my guys, like me and my brothers. And, we just drill and do stuff like that. So, I mean, just pretty much getting it in when you can right now. So.
Yeah. And do you feel like it's different training the way you are now versus what it was before? Because obviously you can't have all the same partners. I know you said you have your brothers and stuff, so that's never going to change. That's familia, your fam, but other bodies in the gym for you to toss around and beat up, while you're warming up. Is that affected the way you're training and the effectiveness of your training?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're just, I'm out of camp right now, so it's just get in shape stay in best shape as you can anyway. But, I don't really have my, coaches and stuff like that right now. I still hit pads, 3 days a week with Ryan Jensen, my head coach, and, do that stuff. But then I had one of my teammates went and rented a storage unit, and we put down mats. I forgot to say that. And we've been doing that like three days a week, 4 days a week too. So we do that during the day instead of being able to go to Premier. So I still get it in there with a couple of my guys, but it's just like not the numbers, and it's not the type of practice that we're used, structured as you'd say.
Yeah. And is it fun to maybe be a little less structured right now? It kind of allows you to freelance a little bit, and maybe try some silly stuff in the gym rather than being so structured. Because, the life of a fighter and the training is monotonous. And, I know you all embrace the grind and, the drilling and the drilling and the drilling, over and over and over again. But is it fun now that it's a little looser where you can like goof off a little bit, have a little more fun, and maybe try some stuff that you normally wouldn't try during regular training?
Man, when I'm outside of camp, I pretty much try to have as much fun as I can, even when I'm in camp. But like outside of fight camp, I like to do what I can and just switch it up and still have fun and do all that stuff. So I'm just that way anyway. Even when I'm messing around, I still do the same stuff. And obviously right now, even if I would have to gather a camp together in Omaha if they offered me a fight, so. Because I'm still going to fight. If they offer me a fight, I'm going to fight. So
hell yeah, you are.
So I'm going to get together a camp and stuff like that. But yeah, it's cool, man. I pretty much just love what I do. And so that just makes it fun in general. So.
Well, that's awesome, man. It's cool to hear that you like to, let loose and rip it up a little bit, have a good time. Nobody should ever take themselves too seriously. It's the truth, man. When we all take ourselves too seriously, man, I think we miss out on cool moments of life because we're so, blinders up, and that's no way to live, man. And, so I'm glad that you do that for yourself. So, so let's talk about your little daughter that was just born today. Obviously, 9 months ago, you and your girlfriend had a little woohoo, and boom, here comes the baby. How nervous were you when you found out? I mean, you told me off the air that, you and your girlfriend have been together and, she has a child prior to being with you. So you've raised that little child since you were about one. She was about 1.5. She's 4 now. So being with the kid isn't new to you. A newborn, however, is new to you. But how nervous were you? Freaked out when your girl said, "Hey, honey, I'm pregnant"?
I mean, it was one of those things it just happens, I'm 29 years old. So as far as being nervous, I was like, oh shit, life just got real a little bit, when she said that. But, it's cool. I have nieces and nephews. I'm not, I like kids, I coach kids and stuff like that. So it's just kind of cool. Obviously I got a little girl, today. I mean, it's
awesome.
pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm still kind of in awe. When she told me, obviously I'm scared. I'm still scared. I'm still freaked out. I'm excited, freaked out, all the emotions that you can have going through your body. But I mean, it's going to be a wonderful thing. Now you can have a sidekick to do all the full stuff,
Yeah, and it's good that you're scared, and it's good that you're a little nervous because I think it transfers from your fight lifestyle. Any fighter who says they're not a little scared about fighting and all the stuff that goes with it is full of shit. There's a natural fear that you have, not so much about the fight itself. It's I think the fear that I've always found out from fighters is nobody wants to lose, so everybody's afraid to lose. And of course, nobody wants to take an injury that could, shelve them for a year or two or possibly forever. So I think there's a little fear that goes on. And the fact that, you deal with that fear in your career, the fear that you have with your daughter being born is normal. And you're gonna get through it just fine, man. I can see it in your eyes already. Like your eyes tell the whole story. Like, yeah, I'm a little bit worried, but I love this girl more than I've ever loved anything in my life. And she's gonna be all right because Daddy's gonna protect her. And that's the look I'm getting from your eyes right now, and I've never met you and I don't know you. So, they call me the great Rodsteiny.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You don't believe in love at first sight until you have a kid. They always say that. And that's pretty much true, So, but yeah, I've met you before though.
We met?
Yeah. Dakota Cochran.
At Bare Knuckle.
Bare Knuckle fighting.
Oh my God, dude.
So, yeah.
See, now I feel like a schmuck. Oh, well, I didn't realize we met, because I meet so many people. So please don't be offended, And especially on a night like that when I'm dealing with the fighters, it's very rare that I remember their corner people. And there's no disrespect to them, unless, like if Dakota Cochran had come in with his corner and his corner was, James Krause. I'd remember James Krause because I've seen James Krause forever, You're not a new entity to me. I've seen your fights before you ever got to the UFC and the Contender Series. But because we never chatted, we never conversed, we never had a face-to-face discussing you.
No.
But damn, you know what? That means I probably have a picture with you somewhere from that night. I'm going to have to go look that shit up. So you're now you were a dad before with your girlfriend's daughter, but now you're officially a dad. Like you've brought life into this world, which is the coolest thing you're ever going to do. You can become a UFC champion. You can be a three division champion. Nothing's ever going to be cooler. So from the bottom of my heart, and I told my wife today I was doing this show and I was talking to a guy that his wife just had a baby, or his girlfriend just had a baby. I don't want to get you married off too fast, man. That's not my job. But I told her, I said his girlfriend just had a baby. And she goes, when? I go, today. She goes, shut the fuck up. I'm like, no, for real. He just had a baby today. We're going to do the show while he's in the hospital. And so we love children. And she told me to make sure I send my heartfelt congratulations and thoughts and prayers for my wife, Beth, to you and your family. Because, we miss our grandson terribly. He's up in Pennsylvania. We don't get to see him a lot. I'm so sad. But I get to see. So I'm feeling a little bit of your love today with your baby. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of part of a little thing today because I'm in the hospital. Some of your friends probably haven't even been in the hospital yet. And here I am in the hospital. Oh, yeah, because they can't.
They can't.
So I took the sneaky way in. I knew what I was doing. All right. So let's talk about your first UFC fight. Grant Dawson, tough kid, no doubt about it. A lot of people have a lot of high aspirations for him. And he had some issues, before he even got into the octagon, with some drug testing and all that stuff. But correct me if I'm wrong, but you took this fight on short notice, correct?
Man, I took the fight with Grant Dawson on 8 days' notice.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was like 12 days. I was going to say 12. I said, no, maybe. I said, so I'm just going to go short.
Yeah, it was 8 or 9 days. And, yeah, he's a tough kid. I wasn't in the greatest shape. And that's fine. I'm not gonna make excuses for losing that fight. But he's a tough kid. That's all I got to say. And if he didn't need an opponent, I wouldn't be in the UFC. Especially now with the pandemic going on, I probably would be backed up. I probably wouldn't be in the UFC for another 1.5 to 2 years. So, I don't got nothing bad to say about the kid. But yeah, so. Other than the fact that you weren't in your best shape, because again, it was 8 days notice,
how would you rate your performance? I mean, and again, it's hard to ask this question to somebody that's coming off a loss, but I feel it's smart to grade your performance and look back at it and see what you did good in that fight, versus what you did bad. So what did you feel that you did good in that fight with him?
First of all, I made weight on 8 days notice.
Amen.
That's one. He did not,
That's correct.
He missed weight by 4.5 pounds. Two, I went in there and I believe I won the first round. I threatened with a lot of
I had you on that round, just so you know. I had my card. I look back at my card. I write them all down. I go, yep, I had him in the first.
I feel like I won the first round. I was dead that second round. I got up and my lungs felt okay, but my muscles weren't in rolling shape. It wasn't in that grappling shape that I'm used to, as far as like the way I hold my chokes, the way I do everything. I threatened with a lot. I believe, there was probably a half a second before he was about to tap. I feel like if my arms were in shape, he was definitely going to sleep. But my arms gave out. That's a product of taking a fight on 8 days notice and out of camp,
Yeah.
I believe it was a decent debut as far as like making sure, my name's out there and everybody. I mean, I've been around for a long time, so it's not like. But now it was on ESPN. It was on the main card, and granted, would have been cool to get that tap and get that $50,000 that I probably would have got. Yeah, I think about that every day, but I can't hang my hat on it, and I feel like it was all right. We're gonna get another shot or two, and I'll prove my worth, and then I'll just keep climbing from there.
Yeah. So like you said, 8 days notice, which is balls to the wall, awesome anyway. And the fact that you made weight again, where he didn't, he had a whole camp. He knew he was fighting, a lot sooner than you did, and he didn't make weight, and that's really bad. To me, that was bad for him, because coming off the drug suspension, and then you come back your first fight in and you don't make weight. That's not and a 4.5 pound miss. That's not a miscalculation. That's a lack of discipline. If you miss weight, listen, you guys are all human beings, and the body's going to fluctuate. If you miss weight by a half pound, to maybe 3/4 pound, that's a miscalculation, and it's almost forgivable. I mean, you still shouldn't, but you can understand that, different scale, this, that, and the other thing. But when you miss by 4.5 pounds, it just says there's no discipline in your game, and that's a lack of professionalism. It's disrespectful to the opponent. It's disrespectful to the organization that writes your check. It's disrespectful to the fans that support you. So, and if he was on the show with us right now, I would tell him that too, especially.
What is going on?
Because even though he'd see me, it'll pop in. Okay. You're there. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Once in a blue moon, that just pops up. That's technology. Did you have any octagon jitters? You've been to the Contender Series. You've had so many freaking fights, but the UFC is a different animal. So was there a little jitter?
Nah, man. I could tell you it was one of, probably the greatest experiences of my life, besides this today. I don't know, man. I don't feel like I had the, jitters at all. It was just another fight to me. I walked in there, and the coolest thing, I got an adrenaline rush. Obviously, you do. But when Bruce Buffer's calling my name and he said my city and all that stuff, like that was cool. When I fist bumped Bruce Buffer, it was like, hell yeah, let's go. And I don't know if there was any jitters at all. I mean, I've been around this thing. I've had a lot of tough fights. I mean, cameras in your face. It's the same whether it's in the UFC or if it's on Access TV. You're just getting paid more money, and that's the way I feel. I've fought on Access TV 13, 14 times or whatever it was. So I've been around, and I don't feel like I had octagon jitters, and if there was any, this next fight is going to show what I do without any, So
and a full camp, So that's awesome, And it's funny, I cut my teeth on Access TV too when they were still HDNet fights. I was announcing. I'm a ring announcer also, so I was announcing for XFC, and we cut a deal with HDNet fights. So I was there. Guy Metzger was doing the commentary for us, with Kenny Rice, which was awesome. And this was before Chavello and Pat Miletich took over with Ron Kruk. It was awesome, And so, yeah, I'm like you, first of all, I never get nervous when I get a microphone in my hand. Just let me do my thing and get out my way, and I'll blow shit up, But yeah, So you've been there, and because that's a big TV production, they don't fuck around at Access TV. You know, they put on a big show. You know, cameras, directors, timing, point, this, that, and the other. So while we're sitting there doing this, guys, let me show you a little picture right here. That right there is the beautiful, the gorgeous, the lovely lady herself. That's right. It is. Yay, his little baby girl. She's making their debut today with us all. And as you see across the bottom of the scroll, there's her name. It's Brogan Azrael Minner, a.k.a. Baby Bam. So, she's beautiful. And we might get to see her tonight live on the show if everything goes right. I'm just saying, we might get to see her before grandmas and grandpas and friends and family. We're getting an exclusive here, kids. So be grateful. And by the way, guys, we are live on Cage-Side with Christopher James here. Don't forget to check out the YouTube page. And my guest right now is Darrick Minner. He's a featherweight fighter in the UFC. Recently entered the UFC. He's 24-11. Make sure you share this video right now if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. Share with everybody, and let's see what's going on. So we're back. Well, let me take that other piece off there. Boop. All right, so we're back with them right now. So the UFC has been on hold. Everybody's on hold. The people that were supposed to fight in the last couple of cards that were canceled are going to get first crack at the fights that are coming up. UFC 249, as they put this up, is rumored to be taking place here in Tampa. Amanda Nunes pulled out. She said she doesn't have enough time for a full camp, so she don't want to fight. That's fine. But you got Ferguson and Gaethje for the interim strap. At lightweight, you got Cejudo and Cruz for the bantamweight title, Cerrone and Pettis Part 2, and Nico Price and Vicente Luque Part 2, which are some of the bigger fights on the card. So first of all, give me your thoughts on, are we ready to get back to fights now? Is this a good time? Because some people, there's been a couple of fire instructors that I'm not so sure, but I fully support you guys wanting to go back to work. I fully support Dana White doing everything in his power to get you guys back to work and to provide some entertainment and a break from this pandemic thing. So give me your thoughts first on working for a gangster like Dana who's buying a fucking island to host fights and getting back to business. And then we'll talk about this card a little bit.
Man, it's cool because, like everybody says, the world needs normal to get through this, And I feel like the only way you can do that is, if what's it going to matter if we fly out and go to Tampa and fight an event that's on TV and it's just me, my two corners, and them in their two corners. So there's 150, 200 people there.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know how much I don't know how much I'm a believer in this stuff, so I just feel like we need to get back to normal, and that's just my opinion. I mean, a lot of people are going to disagree, which I respect their opinion because they might have family members or people that are sick, and I don't. But I feel like it's a strong flu, and we just need to act like it. But if you're over 55 or you're in bad health, you got underlying issues, stay home. That should be the people that are quarantined. Do you think that a perfectly healthy 29-year-old male that has to fight to make his living or run a gym to make his living, and now he can't do either? I don't think that's right, and I feel like we just need to open stuff back up and get back to business.
Yeah, I think that this is a real thing. The virus is real. There's people dying, people getting sick, but I think we overreacted. That's my opinion. Again, I'm not the popular opinion. I think we overreacted. I praise our government for doing what they thought was right, in interest of public safety. I'm not going to crap on them. We never seen anything like this. So they reacted how they reacted. Now, the key to this is not doubling down and making it last longer. The key to this is, all right, let's start opening things back up and let's start getting life back to a sense of normalcy. So I'm with you 100%. UFC 249, some of these fights are epic. I mean, it was supposed to be Khabib and Tony. So give me your thoughts on Tony and Justin Gaethje, because I'll tell you what I think before you give me yours. I think if Tony can take Justin's power in that first round, and Tony gets hit more in the first round than in any other part of a fight. That's where he takes the most damage. He always has the biggest chance to possibly lose, although he hasn't. But if he survives Justin's power in round one, it's going to be a long night for Justin, in my opinion, because at that point, Tony's going to Tony's good at Tony, and
for sure.
I think his cardio is better than Justin's, and I think he's more well-rounded. I love Justin Gaethje, so but I think just Tony brings more to the table. So, your thoughts?
Man, I think first 2.5 rounds, it ends in the first 2.5 rounds. Justin Gaethje wins. I think Gaethje can knock him out. If it, I think that like you said, Tony gets hit a lot. And you've seen that in like a lot of his fights, even when he fought. God, what's that kid from Jackson's that took it on short?
Landon Venata.
Yeah, he got hit a
first
lot.
round. He got dropped in the first round. It was in Tampa. I was like, oh my fucking God. But he came back and won the fight. That's that intestinal fortitude that he has. It's that craziness.
Yeah. And he's crazy, man. And I think that if it goes past 2.5 rounds, 2.5 rounds, I think Tony, pulls away and ends up finishing him, in the fifth or something like that. But because the dude doesn't get tired, and he's a gangster as they come. So I'm looking forward to that fight just as much, if not, as I was Khabib and Tony.
Who were you picking in that one?
I was so tossed up on it. I had Khabib just because you can't go against a guy that's never lost. You can't go against a guy that's 28-0. But I think Tony could definitely won the fight. I was 50-50, on the fight. I kept going back and forth, but I kind of tried to, with my ground and pound and stuff, I like to kind of take what Khabib does. And so I watch a lot of his film and stuff and study him. And so I was hard to go against him,
Yeah. I picked Tony to win that fight because while it's hard to pick against a guy that's 28-0, but Khabib has never faced, and Khabib faced some top guys, but he's never faced anybody like Tony Ferguson. And you can't emulate Tony in the gym because whatever you think Tony's going to do to you while you're in the gym trying to figure that shit out, he's already coming up with some other crazy stuff to do that you've never seen. And he'll get taken down by Khabib. I have no doubt about it, but it's the difference between him and all the other guys that have been taken down by Khabib is the level of his ground game, fighting off his back where he's completely comfortable. He's not going to panic. He's not going to get, frustrated being on the back. Some of the other guys you've seen his fights, he gets you down there, he crowds you, he gets you on the ground, and then guys get frustrated. And that's why they lose to Khabib, because they get frustrated, they make a mistake, and then Khabib just capitalizes and finishes him. And Khabib is a beast. A beast. You don't get to be 28-0 by not being a beast. But I still think Tony had enough to win that fight. Hopefully when they book it the sixth time, it'll happen, and it won't be like, oh, Tony Khabib get canceled again for the sixth time because Godzilla invaded, and some crazy shit like that. That's the only thing that can stop this fight at this point. Have you seen the whole card for this event? Most of the fights?
Yeah, I think so. I seen it's stacked, man. I was looking at it the other day. But it's awesome, man.
It's a crazy card. Let me pull it up here on my wrong screen. I got to pull this up here so we get a look at this thing because this card really is just nuts. Schedule events. It's funny looking at this this thing on I'm looking at MMA Junkie right now. And they're, you had the events list, and it's just a listing of every fight canceled. So Cejudo versus Cruz, Spencer and Nunes are off the card, and Ngannou and Jairzinho Rosenstruck, they both signed now. So, and then that's going to be a crazy heavyweight fight. Calvin Guitar, Jeremy Stevens, Jorgen De Castro and Greg Hardy, another big heavyweight fight. Fabricio, the return of Fabricio Werdum is something I'm super excited about against Alexei Olenek. Jacare versus Uriah Hall, Bryce Mitchell and Charles Rosa. Shit, dude. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sit down when this fight card starts. I'm going to be on my couch. I'm going to be standing there the whole time because it's stacked. They've got so many studs on there. And but the fight, I think, to me, I'm looking forward to the most outside of the top of the card. And, of course, Nico Price. I always look forward to his fights because I've known him forever. He's a Florida guy. We're friends. I'm going to move into a treehouse on his property and become the nanny for his 5 children. We talked about that the last time I was on there. Last time he was on my show.
I've met Nico a few times. He actually was trained up here a few times.
He's good people.
Boxing guy up here. So,
so with all the fights on this card, the one fight that I'm really super looking forward to is Michelle Waterson and Carla Esparza. the first champion at strawweight, Carla Esparza, XFC veteran. She's just an awesome fighter, and she's a wrestler, a real wrestler. She wrestled in middle school, junior high school, college. She wasn't just out there playing wrestler like some people do. She was a wrestler. She grinds. And she's facing the karate hottie, a total stand-up fighter. It's got some ground. So these are the fights I like because this is what brought the UFC to prominence. This discipline versus this discipline. This is what it was. So now we're going to see that wrestler versus a striker. And those fights I love. A lot of people are so well-rounded today, you almost miss out on that. But these girls both have both. But Carla relies on that wrestling, and Michelle relies on her stand-up. So I'm excited to see that clash. What's your thoughts on that kind of a fight?
Man, I like that, but I also think that Michelle Waterson can fight off her back. She has some submissions and stuff, so that'll be interesting. She definitely can grapple too. So, I mean, it'll be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, and like I said, she definitely can work off the ground. But when Carla gets on top, she's like a female Khabib in some degree.
Yeah.
She's not as dominant as Khabib against his competition, but she is in a way. And when she gets down there, she starts working from that wrestling base. If you're not ready and you're not prepared, she's going to smoke you.
Kind of like a wet blanket on top. She's tough, man. She's tough. Do you train with any women? Have you trained with any women that are really tough, like that we would know, like any big stars? I mean, when I go out to Vegas, like Gina Magzani's out there, and because I stay with Tim Elliott when I go out there and stuff.
Love that kid too, man. Yeah. Kid's got the coolest hair.
I've seen the girls train a lot and stuff. So girls are tough, man. Girls are so tough.
All right, so let me see. I'm gonna roll back up here. We've got some comments coming up. Let's see. Forrest Daniel, my friend Forrest says you look like you're related to Ally Quinta.
Definitely not.
No, but you know what? Now that he said that, now that I'm reading the comment, I'm looking at your face. I'm going, all right, I get it, man. I see what I quit in you. Drew Gardner says, Minner is a beast. Do you know Drew Gardner?
Yeah, he's a matchmaker from Michigan. We actually went up there with Dakota, and Dakota fought that Daquan Townsend kid. Yep.
All right, let's see what else we got here. This is just a little shout out from me. Fuck, man, I love this show. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, here's another comment coming across so you can see it. Ed Jarrett. D-Man.
Yeah. What's up, Eddie?
Who's Ed Jarrett? Friend, coach, team?
He's like one of my dad's good friends, like an uncle to me.
I got some of those. Sandy Spadell says, one of my favorite fighters in the world. So proud of you, D.
She has 3 fighters that she loves. Obviously, they're her 3 sons. Thanks.
Ed Jarrett says, awesome interview. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate you. Drew Gardner says, congrats on the baby girl.
Thanks, Drew.
Tanya McCall, congrats, D. And Forrest Daniel says, Esparza doesn't have the striking to beat the karate hottie. Forrest, don't sleep on Carla striking because if she gets on top, her ground and pound is painful. Ask the girls that have been under her and let her get on top of you and beat you up and then come talk some shit. I fuck with Forrest. Forrest is probably my number one supporter. Always shares my show. Love the kid, but he's good people. And he was one of the guys who I tell you the thing you're going to have to do in a few minutes. He was one to make sure that I make sure you do it.
Right.
So now that all this is going on, the new baby, the UFC is coming back to business. Have you had a phone call from your management team about have they reached out to you and say, hey, we're going to start putting a card together starting May 9th. They're going to go every week. So have you been hit up yet about a possible fight? And if so, can you share who the possible opponent can be, or do you have to keep that a secret right now?
Man, I haven't been hit up yet, and I believe it's probably because I fought on the last show with fans, right? I fought one of the last 2 shows, but they're gonna give all the fighters that had fights lined up first pick, and
sure.
Which hopefully they go through some of those guys, and hopefully then they're like, hey, what's up? You want to fight in June? And they know whether it's 4, 5, 6, 3 weeks, I'm down, and so I'm just gonna get in the best shape I can after we get out of the hospital, and hopefully get in get in a fight before the maternity leaves up. So then I can, after I beat up whoever, I can stay home with the baby girl, you know? So
Amen to
while the
that.
girl goes back to work. So,
All right. Here's a shout out from your cousin, Shonda Spadell. She said, love you, cuz. How cool is it that your family, like, you know, because you said your brothers also fight and everything. So you're a family of fighting. Like, has that been the whole life? You know, you guys all fought coming up and everything. So your family's all used to it. Because it's tough being a family member of a fighter. Whether you're the girlfriend, because if you're the girlfriend of a fighter or the boyfriend of a female fighter,
so she can hear you.
I mean, but if you're with a fighter, you know, whether you're a guy dating a female fighter or a female dating a guy fighter, it's tough because you have to be all in. You can't be half-assed into this life with the life of a fighter. What about like with your parents and people like that? They've been all in from jump?
Yeah, man. From day one, you know, I when I was fighting amateur, you know, my grandma would come to my fights, all my grandma. Like, you know, so it's pretty crazy, man. I've never not had support when it came to fighting. Even, you know, I had 14 amateur fights too. So like, I've always been able to, I'm from a town of 7,500 people in Nebraska City, Nebraska. And the whole town has got behind me. And now I feel like the whole state's gotten behind me. And, you know, I feel I definitely have a lot of support, and it started with my family from, you know, the times I was wrestling growing up to, you know, everything. So yeah, it definitely helps for sure to have everybody that backs you and, you know, shows you love and support and buys tickets and comes and watches.
That's awesome. All right, we got some more comments popped up from our man Dakota Cocker. He says Darrick is ready to kick some ass. Hell yeah. And then he followed that up with can't stop, won't stop.
That's right.
How cool is it to have a guy like Dakota in your corner, you know, because he's a really inspirational type dude. Like anytime I've ever spoken to him, he's been on my show and of course and all that stuff. And he's just a cool cat, and he really brings a positive fiber on everybody I see him with. So how cool is it to have that kind of energy in your corner and in your back pocket?
Man, it's pretty cool, man. Me and Dakota's been man, we've been training together a long time. So we it's pretty cool. I mean, he keeps the mood light because, you know, I get to pick on him, and whenever we go anywhere, you know, and slap him around.
You pick on him. How do you pick on him?
I slap shove. Or I'll tell you what, we down in Tampa when he had that bare knuckle fight.
Yeah, man.
So the crickets, bro. The crickets. He's scared of crickets, bro.
Shut
dude,
the
guy that can beat Johnny Hendricks and Chris Levin, but then I throw crickets on him, right? And so
you're scared of crickets?
Like dude, big, and he freaks out, and he about beats my ass every time. But it's funny. I can't stop laughing. But I'll throw those crickets on him. I'll run in the hotel room and throw them on him and run out and stuff.
Oh my god!
You know, he doesn't like them too well. But yeah, that's the kind of, you know, silly shit that we do. So I'll just send you a video when we're done.
Okay, cool. Yeah, send it to me. I'm waiting for him to comment right now. By the way, Linus Hendrickson says congratulations on the baby girl. He said it's not crickets, it's grasshoppers. He hates them.
Oh yeah, grasshoppers, because they're like that big, you know, and down there, and he ain't playing. He runs. You ever want him to, you know, run? You just have to have bring a grasshopper into the ring or something.
Oh man, you're giving away like a secret. Like one of his opponents is going to be sitting there, and he's going to be like, have a grasshopper like on his glove. Go, ah!
I don't know if that's what the action. So
it says Brent Deniston. Congrats on the new world champion female baby fighter, dude. Good luck on the next fight, D-man. You know, right. I'm really happy that a lot of people that know you are watching this right now and showing their support and their love for you, man. Stuff like this warms my heart. You know, sometimes I get a fighter on and, you know, a couple of their friends show up, but they don't ever like get into the conversation. And this is awesome, man. It lets me know how loved you are by your friends, your family, and some of the fans that watch you. It just tells me the character of the man you are, and that's. I'll always be happy to speak to a man of character, even if he loses 25 fights in a row, than speak to an asshole who's undefeated.
Appreciate it, my man. I'll never lose 25 fights.
I know you're not going to lose that, but I'm just agree. If you lost every fight in a row, I would still bring you on my show every day. Versus a guy who's, you know, 20-0 and he's just, drinks too much of his own Kool-Aid and he thinks he's God's gift to the world. Fuck that guy. You have to have a little arrogance and ego about you. You are an alpha male and you are in an alpha career, but you don't always have to be the alpha when you're not fighting. Nebraska City proud, baby. That's what she's talking about right there. Is Sandy Spadell, is that your mom?
Yeah, she's silly.
Hi, Mom. Your son's awesome. You raised him up right, Mom. You should be proud. And thanks for giving him to the world so we can watch him do this. We appreciate that. All right, so we're getting around here. I kept you on for a little bit, so we're going to let you dip out because I know you had a long day now. I told you off the air before before we started, but every fighter, every guest on my show, first time on, I asked them to sing something for us. So right. You told me what you were going to do off the air. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get. Go ahead.
Hold on one second. I'm going to grab her. How about that?
All right. You're going to bring her over? All right. Yep. Yeah, because your girl's like, I just had a baby. Don't you dare put me on fucking camera.
Yeah, no. Hold on.
Guys, this is going to be the coolest song moment on my show ever. Check this shit out. Oh, no, thank you, Miss Spinell, Sandy. So I make fighters sing on my show. You guys know this. And we're going to get a special little singing presentation. And we're going to get to meet a very special young lady who's joining us here on the earth today. Brogan Triel Minner is going to join us. Let Daddy get the camera. There she. Oh my
Busty, God. She's hungry. She wants a booby. Hold on 1 second. I got to get her. How about that?
All right. So just let her rip, dude. Do it now while you got her in hand. Here he is. He's singing happy birthday to his baby girl on her first day on earth. Let her rip.
Right, let's just sing happy birthday to her while she's crying.
All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bam Bam. Happy birthday to you.
That was
there. We go.
That was awesome.
See, it calmed her down. Look at that.
That's what I'm saying, man. See, I was right. The crowd loved it. See that music works with the baby. See, it was a great thing because you staying and she stops crying. That's right. Awesome. Your daughter is so beautiful. Spin her around there. Oh, look, your mom is crying right now. She said, "Thank you. You're making me cry."
She's a crybaby though.
Yeah, but this is her granddaughter, man. So and you just saying happy birthday. So you're her son doing this. It's awesome, dude. Well, listen, you are. Yeah. I'll let you drop her off there by mommy. All right. Well, listen, Darrick, I'll let you go. You got a busy life. I appreciate you taking the time, especially on a day like today. And I'm telling you right now, my eyes are tearing up a little bit because I love moments like that. And, that was a beautiful moment. Father and daughter, you're saying her happy birthday to her on her day of birth. So, and this will be forever on video on the YouTube. So you can always pull it up and show her, hey, 20 years from now, go, hey, I sang to you that night in the hospital. I don't sing for anybody.
That's right.
Reminder, so, but, let me see a couple other comments here. Congratulations on all your success in the UFC and the baby girl. That's from John Gittinger. Again, your mom. Thank you for making me cry. My buddy Forrest said that's awesome. She's beautiful. Casey Hendrickson sending lots of good vibes your way, dude. We're so happy for you and your family. Just stick with fighting. Singing isn't your forte. Hey. You can't rip on a dad for singing happy birthday to his little baby girl the day she was born live on an MMA show. You need to just shout him out and give him some hand clapping like this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You could do this to him. I mean, you could just, if you're not his friend, you could just laugh at him. But but I'm going to say this. Oh, they're laughing again. I say this. He's the bomb. All right, there you go. So listen, Darrick, thank you. You're a double bomb. So listen, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. God bless you and your family. That beautiful little girl, man. I know she's She's got a good daddy that's going to take good care of her, and a good mommy too. I know you would have introduced us to mommy tonight, but she just had a baby, and that's a no, not the first night. You can't put her on camera. But Jordan, hey, congratulations, mama. You made yourself a beautiful little baby girl with Darrick, and we're so honored that you guys shared this moment with us on my show. It's going to go down in my history books, and I've interviewed, some of the biggest names in the world, and crazy, and you're in the UFC now, so you're a big star now. But I've interviewed some guys, they're the world champions. I had Dominic Cruz on my show, but nothing will ever compare to this moment because this is special. This is family. This is real life, and that's why I do what I do. So God bless you and your family. Thank you so much. If you want to shout out any sponsors and tell everybody how to follow your social media right now, go ahead and do that. And then once you do all that, just say goodbye and click yourself out, and you're good to go.
All right. Well, pretty much I appreciate everybody for watching. Thanks for having me on the show. All my sponsors, my town, my fans, my family, everybody, shout out to them. And, shout out to Jordan for delivering a 9-pound, 6-ounce baby girl this morning.
Big girl.
Crazy. Big girl. She came out. I'm glad because I can't deal with the little small babies. So.
She's still small. But yeah, we didn't even mention that, man. You produced a 10-pounder basically, man.
Hey, man.
That's impressive.
That's that super DNA.
Dum, dum, dum. They've got that shit going on. Well, listen. I did say something before. I said it was your wife. I got to ask this before I go because, it might get me in trouble. Might make the ring come faster. But are you guys planning on a marriage here coming up anytime soon?
Let me give me a couple years in the UFC.
She's looking over there. She's thinking, she goes, yeah, man, you better put a ring on this motherfucker. I know how they are, man. Well, listen, God bless you and your family. Thanks for taking the time tonight. We look forward to all your future successes in the UFC. We'll definitely be in touch again. We'll get you on the show again, especially when you get a fight announcement. Hit me up and let me know. We'll bring you on and we'll pimp the crap out of it for you. Oh, and one more thing. I do this for special occasions on my show. This bud's for you.
My man. Yeah. I like it.
God bless you and your family, man.
Thanks,
guys, that is Darrick Minner, UFC Featherweight. He's going to check out and go hang out with this girl and this baby. So you're free to just go ahead and click out on your end, and you're good, man. God bless you to you and everybody. Thank you.
You too, brother.
Ooh, that was a good one, too. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Mom, I try to be funny. Mom, I really hope you enjoyed the show and the way I interviewed your son. I'm not your typical journalist. I don't try to, do the same, cookie cutter interview. I jump out a little bit here and there. We try to have a little fun. Usually the first time I'm with somebody, I kind of go a little bit of both. But next time you come on the show, I'm just going to cut up on him, But thank you all for supporting the show tonight. God bless Darrick and Jordan and the beautiful baby, Sandy's little granddaughter. Oh, man, she is a beautiful little baby girl. Brogan, Azrael Minner, man, wow. So we are going to dip out, kids. By the way, let me put this scroll on the bottom before I forget. On the bottom of the screen, I got to run this one too. I'd like to say thank you to UFC welterweight Phil the Fresh Prince Rowe for tightening up my fade. You know what I'm saying? Man? Let me just do this right here. Let's just take this scroll off. And just so we can see it right up there. Sunday afternoon, I went over to see Phil at his house, and he's out of there. So, and that's it. I want to thank UFC welterweight Phil, the Fresh Prince Rowe, for tightening up my fade so I looked human and felt human again. Fade by Philly Fresh. If you're lucky, you might get one day. But guys, that's the show for tonight, man. Don't forget to check us out on mymmashow.com. For articles that I write. I do it all myself. I write my own articles. These videos, all my shows will be linked over to the website shortly. Thanks to Darrick Minner. Thanks to my friends at Enstill Nutrition and Proper Nutrition of Gulf Breeze for sponsoring me in all my ventures. I really appreciate them. Island Fights is coming back soon. Maybe a lot sooner than you think. So keep up with me for updates on Island Fights. UFC 249. It's going to be 249. It's not going to be UFC 250. It will be 249. Going to take place. The rumor is in Tampa. I've been in touch with the commission. The meetings are ongoing. There is no official announcement yet of where, but it's 99.7% sure that the fight will take place. UFC 249 take place here in Florida. Most of the fighters on the card are from Florida. Logistically, it just makes sense, especially with some of the travel restrictions and airplanes and all that stuff and all that good stuff. Even though the UFC could fly these guys out there on their own private plane, you still, you know what I mean? So, Dean for golf, thank you. Thank you. Alex, you be safe too, man. So anyway, guys, I'm going to dip on out of here. I'm going to go hang out with my beautiful wife tonight. Appreciate you guys supporting the show. I'll put you up a post tomorrow, let you know who my guest will be tomorrow night. And I'm waiting for a confirmation, so I don't like to announce and jinx myself. Once I confirm it tomorrow or later tonight, I'll put up a post about it. God bless you all. Stay safe. Be well. Don't buy all the toilet paper. It's starting to get back in the store. I need to wipe my tush too. You know what I'm saying? So thanks for tuning in. As always, you guys are always freaking awesome. I love you all so very much. I can't even sometimes put it into words, but it's time to go. So on behalf of Darrick Minner, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. As always, thank you for letting me be a part of life today and you guys being a part of mine. I do appreciate it. But we out of here. It's Cage Side with Christopher James. I'm Christopher James. We'll see you next time. Good night.
I see the fear in your eyes. Your walk is round, but your body's weak.